See, what had happened was...
That's how we almost ought to start every
Pretty
video.
much. Mom's like, hey, we're going on an adventure.
Well, I'm purposely, I'm beyond a doubt convinced that when you ask, you're going to receive, right? So at work the other day, somebody was asking me, they were dying with hay fever, allergies, whatever this stuff is that was going on.
All the pollen.
And asked me like, what can I do?
Yeah.
And I said, you need nettles. You need stinging nettles. I mean, like, badly.
We are literally going off-roading.
I really am. And so, long story short, he picks up some stinging nettles, and the two guys were talking, and I came out and went over, and I said, so how did the nettles, did you get the nettles? He's like, yes. I said, how'd you do? And he went and breathed freely and said that was like the best suggestion ever. And I had explained how we had been trying to bring in and reintroduce nettles, but we hadn't been very successful in our location, and I was really looking for a source that we could
stock up.
Yeah, really, not only A, get a supply, but B, be able to gather. Oh my word.
Is that all it?
Oh my.
This brings back so many childhood trauma memories right now. This is... Yeah, I told you, I told you guys about my trauma about getting out of the river as a little girl.
What's so funny?
I have to tell the story. Trauma! The trauma.
Kaylee's reliving some PTSD childhood memories on nettle and coming out of the river.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. So, oh boy.
This is beautiful.
Oh.
Welcome to nettle heaven.
Nettle heaven. That is exactly what this is. Oh my goodness.
Have you ever seen such a wonderful crop of nettles in your life?
Such a wonderful
Kaylee,
crop of
look,
nettles.
she's even
Don't
blooming.
touch her.
Okay, so my trauma story, when I was a little girl, we would float the river. And I would get out of the river at the pickup point, and of course you're wearing your tennis shoes. We did like the inner tire tube, and
You can smell it.
I was about 8-9 years old, and so maybe about this tall. Well, when I got out of the river, I just romped through,
Oh my goodness.
and my whole body
Oh my
just was like burning, and I despised this plant so much until I started really learning about herbal
Now you don't
medicine.
despise it
No,
anymore.
because it does so much for your body.
This one's seeding out pretty nice.
It is beautiful.
There's no danger of not having nettles.
No, nettles are quite happy down by the river.
You can see.
I can see,
Yeah.
and I same thing on my property. Every morning I wake up and it's like, find my gratitude.
Oh boy.
That's what keeps us going. Finding gratitude and being thankful, and
It's the way to live.
it is.
If you look for it, you got more stuff to be thankful for than you could possibly compress into any,
You are 100% right. You are 100% right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole way, it's a whole attitude toward life.
Yeah.
I've heard attitude of gratitude.
Attitude of gratitude. I say finding gratitude, because even if sometimes there's some mornings where it's like, okay, if I'm thankful for anything, it's the fact that I got my eyes were opened. My eyes are open, and I'm ready to go. And sometimes we've got to find it. Sometimes we have to look for it. But
Yeah. Well, you get distracted.
yeah, you do. You do.
This is the chapter on nettles.
This is going to be the chapter on nettles. So, I actually, I have a book coming out. My very first book is coming out in, it's available to pre-order now, but it'll be.
You wrote a book?
I wrote a book.
Oh wow!
And it's an herbalism book, and it talks about honey too. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been very busy
Awesome.
in the last couple of years. Gotta plant these, and we gotta wash these and get these prepped and ready for tomorrow. this is one herb that you can use medicinally, you can use it in food, and so we were like, this is one thing we don't have growing.
We need nettles.
Yeah.
So, as it works, ask and so you shall receive. The friend came in and he goes, you guys want nettles?
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely. And he's like, I said, why? Do you have some? And he said, do I have some? So I asked him if we could harvest, and he said, absolutely. So I said, just to be on the safe side, when you get home, take a picture so that I can confirm and identify that this is the correct stinging nettles that we are looking for.
And it stings.
And he did, and it was the mother load.
Yeah, this was probably the largest. Well, immediately as because we went on a little bit of an adventure.
We went off-roading, and we went around the corner, down the hill, over the mountain, down the mountain, and we went to the river.
Yes, and like as we were pulling up,
I saw Kaylee go through PTSD.
I was like brought back some trauma. Like trigger. Because I had shared in one of my last videos about stinging nettle, and I share a couple of times about how this plant scarred me for life as a child, because I walked through about probably 100-foot patch of stinging nettle.
Kind of like where we were at today.
Yes, with, nothing but a bathing suit, the inside of a tire, because we were tubing, and my tennis shoes, and that was trauma.
Yeah.
But again,
I felt really bad.
No, but this was, I had to relearn how to love this plant, and I have very much relearned how to love this plant for all of its medicinal properties, and not just for its sting. And even the sting can be a medicinal action.
That's correct.
And so like we get out of the car, we're both like, grab the basket. And he's like, take as much as you want. And
not only plants, but we got a whole bucket full of plant and roots
and like good root balls too, so that we could put them. Yeah, we could put them on the property. But what was really cool about the whole thing was, we're talking about what we're teaching about what this plant can actually do. And so like the top 3 things that we really value this plant for: 1, it's an antihistamine, so great for seasonal allergies.
Correct.
2, it helps flush your body, so really good for your urinary system, lymphatic system. This is a tonic herb, so it's literally going to support every single system of the body. But you can also use the root, and the root actually has some pretty amazing benefits, specifically towards prostate enlargement.
Correct.
And, there was one more. And if you rub your feet in a patch of stinging nettle, that acts as a rubefacient, and that stimulates your nerves if you are experiencing like neuropathy
and blood flow. Doesn't
it stimulates everything, so it kind of aggravates it. And like,
well, what was really funny about this conversation that we're having with them, I had just mentioned to the son, it's very interesting that if you physically need something, look to your land, because there is generally in abundance, that plant matter may be present on your land. And lo and behold, as the story progressed, the items and the medicinal value that nettles offer were directly related to possibly benefit them if they so choose to use it. And so the next question was, well, how do we use it?
Yeah, and that's a good one, because there are many different ways. So some of our favorite ways, I have one that I like to do. I actually like to take this when it's still kind of fresh. I chop it up and I actually infuse it in raw honey that is from our colonies. That is kind of like an extra allergy boost, because you're not only getting the benefit of the raw honey, but you're also now getting the benefit of the antihistamine properties that this plant has to offer. Then we also do it in a tea. So right now we're kind of laying them out and trying to get them to dry. We might have to break up a little bit or get some more baskets. But drying this as a tea is really good. You can mix it in with pretty much any herb. It's a nutritive herb, so it's packed full of minerals and vitamins. So I like it in a tea, and I like it infused in honey.
And I have had the opportunity to prepare and have prepared for me, taking the nettle leaves, and even though there's a sting in them, once you cook them or once they're heated, the sting does go away. But I've had the opportunity to use this in a couple of different ways. So far, I like making pesto with it, which is delicious.
Yeah.
And we may try to do a quiche with it, and I'll let you know how that one turns out.
Yeah, the quiche I think is going to be really good, and that's another way of just, again, using this plant. It is packed so much. It's packed full of so many minerals, and my husband just walked in, and he's going to be on camera here in a couple of minutes.
We're gonna swap them with it. But this is a good. I don't know if you can see the buds on that one.
That has, the little, they're not all the way to seed. You could also use the seed too, which we don't do as often, but it is another benefit. You can tincture this, you can make an oxymel with this. So tomorrow we actually have a workshop that we're going to be hosting. It's a tea and tincture workshop.
And guess who the star participant's going to be?
Yes. So we're going to be talking a good bit about nettle and just giving everybody an opportunity to kind of experience this plant and maybe learn to love it a little bit more, kind of like how I had to learn. But
this is a true test of love hurts.
It does. It literally does. Like, Mom's driving in the car and she's like, why does my elbow burn? Not realizing that the nettle plant's sticking right behind
We had nettles everywhere.
We did. But we were able to harvest a good bit. I don't exactly know how many pounds we ended up harvesting.
Oh, yeah. How much was this?
It was a lot. But I was actually looking, because I know at this time of year, like, people are kind of asking, like, hey, what do you got? What do you have? And I have it in dried form, but one of the things that I really want to do is load up my Harvest Rate freeze dryer and actually powder this. And that is what we are going to do with a lot that's in the refrigerator right now. These we're going to dry specifically for tea, but I was pricing out and actually looking to see about getting some fresh shipped in, and I think it was like 5 pounds of this was over $100. And I was like, wow, that is a lot of money. And
that's
so
probably 2 pounds.
I shared that with him, and he was like, you want to go into business? And I was like,
I did offer a tool in trade.
Yeah.
I did share a tool.
We bartered.
We did, and eggs and honey.
We're gonna do
and I have to make a quiche.
Yes. So a nice barter. And it was just really enjoyable. I sometimes, like, when you're in a hurry and you're trying to harvest and you're trying to do all this stuff, and then you got to come back and then you got to wash all of this, I had to definitely, like, take a little bit of a pause and stop and appreciate, like, this was an abundance. Not only this,
the whole experience, going to the property, making 2 new acquaintances, sharing the knowledge of the plant with them.
That, and also he and I have a very similar mindset, and that was something I really cherish as we're walking and he's showing me his garden, which, granted, like, it's a different type of garden. It's the wild garden, and so we're walking down this path, and he just kind of, like, we just start talking about gratitude, and it just, that is something that I always focus on. Number one, that's like one of the number one things that if anybody asks about what they can do for their health, probably one of my first answers is find your gratitude and start it first thing in the morning. And, like, your mindset is so connected to your physical health. And so it was really sweet capturing that and his soft voice of how gratitude was, you know, how it's important. So
Right.
I think the day really was a blessing, and I've kind of now become accustomed to my mom's like adventures because we have many.
I did find out it was close.
Yeah.
And it was easy access, and it was near the water.
If you want to know what video I'm talking about, I'm going to put that at the end, and you can watch that adventure. It's a couple years old, but
The
that is-
MacGyver,
swarm catch.
swarm catch.
Yeah. So we have so much now to share. This is exactly what we needed. Such an abundance, and a huge blessing. But if you guys want to see some other adventures that my mom and I have gone on, I will make sure to put another video at the end of this. So as always, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
And stung.
Yes, and stung.
And learn something old.
Bye, guys.
Bye.